Have you ever wondered why certain people are drawn to you so deeply, almost irresistibly? Is it really about your personality, your looks, or your charm? Or could there be something far deeper taking place beneath the surface? Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, believed that love is never random. In his view, people fall in love with you for two profound reasons, both rooted in the deepest layers of the human psyche. In this exploration, we'll step into Jung's fascinating ideas on projection, the anima and animus, and the unconscious forces that silently guide romantic attraction. We'll discover why people are magnetically pulled toward you, not for who you simply appear to be, but for what you represent in their inner world. We like to think of love as a magical accident, spark that appears without warning. Yet, for Jung, even the most sudden connection follows a hidden order, an inner logic shaped not by chance, but by the unconscious mind. What feels spontaneous is rarely so. It is the visible expression of invisible forces, patterns built over years of inner development, unprocessed emotions, and unmet needs. Behind every instant bond lies a structure, a silent architecture of the psyche that guides us toward certain people and not others. And this is where Jung introduces one of his most important concepts: projection. Each of us carries hidden images within fragments of who we are, who we once were, or who we long to become. These images are often repressed, denied, or tucked away in the shadows of our unconscious, but they do not disappear. They wait, and they speak to us through other people. When we meet someone who resonates with these hidden fragments, we feel drawn to them in a way that seems mysterious, even magical. But in truth, it's not them we are seeing. It's a reflection of ourselves shining back at us through their presence. Imagine someone who's lived their life cautiously, always guarded, perhaps even fearful of emotional exposure. When they encounter a person who is bold, expressive, and unapologetically free, they may feel captivated. That feeling is more than simple admiration, it is resonance. The other person embodies something dormant within them, a potential buried under years of suppression. The attraction is real, but the deeper force behind it is the unconscious, reaching toward what it needs in order to grow. The same happens in reverse. Someone may fall in love with you not because of your visible traits, but because you unknowingly represent something they lack, a quality, a way of being, an emotional tone they have been unconsciously searching for. You become the missing piece, the living symbol of a part of themselves they have not yet developed. Reason 1. You represent something they lack. It's not just that opposites attract. Rather, opposites reveal what is missing. A highly rational person may be drawn to someone deeply emotional. An introvert may fall in love with an extrovert. A structured soul may be fascinated by someone wonderfully chaotic. But there is a risk here because admiration can easily turn into dependence. If a person does not recognize that what they admire in you is something they could nurture in themselves, they may cling to you not out of genuine love, but out of unconscious need. And when that need changes, or when your humanity disrupts their idealized image, the attraction may fade. This is the danger of projection. It creates an illusion of connection, one that often cannot survive the truth of reality. Carl Jung believed that within each of us lives an inner image of the opposite gender, an unconscious figure he called the anima in men and the animus in women. These inner figures are not simply fantasies. They are the living essence of our deeper emotional and spiritual potential, the parts of us that carry qualities we may not yet have fully expressed in our daily life. The anima represents the inner feminine in a man, emotional sensitivity, intuition, empathy, and receptivity. The animus represents the inner masculine in a woman, logic, assertiveness, clarity, and willpower. From Jung's perspective, falling in love often happens when someone we meet outwardly mirrors this inner figure we have been carrying in the depths of our unconscious. Think about it. When you meet a person who seems to perfectly embody your inner anima or animus, it can feel almost supernatural, like destiny. You may say things like, "I feel like I've known them my whole life. They are exactly what I've been looking for." Or even, "It's like they complete me." This intensity is not a coincidence. It is your unconscious recognizing in them a mirror of your inner ideal, a living embodiment of the qualities you've been seeking to develop within yourself. Jung described this moment as falling under the spell of the projection. You are not just seeing the person in front of you. You are seeing your own inner image projected onto them. Let's take an example. A man who has suppressed his emotional side may encounter a woman who is deeply in touch with her feelings. Artistic and intuitive, she becomes for him the living symbol of his inner anima. Her presence awakens parts of him he has long ignored, and the attraction becomes profound. Similarly, a woman who has never fully embraced her own inner strength may meet a man who is confident, focused, and unshaken by challenges. For her, he reflects the animus, the part of herself that longs to act with clarity and courage. In both cases, the attraction is fueled not just by the other person's traits, but by the deep psychological resonance between them and the seeker's own hidden potential. Reason 2. You embody their inner ideal. This is different from simply representing something they lack. Here you become the living image of their deepest unconscious longing, something they may not have even been able to put into words until meeting you. But there is both beauty and danger here. The beauty is that such encounters can awaken parts of the soul that have been asleep for years. The danger is that the person may confuse this awakening with the idea that you alone can give them wholeness. Jung reminds us, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. But this transformation can only be healthy when both people recognize that what they see in each other is also within themselves. One of Jung's most important lessons is that falling in love does not always mean we truly see the other person for who they are. Often we are seeing a projection, an image born from our own unconscious needs, hopes, and wounds. In the early stages of love, the projection can feel intoxicating. Every gesture, every glance, every conversation seems charged with meaning. The person appears flawless, almost mythical, as though they hold the key to our deepest happiness. But this illusion has a shadow. When reality eventually emerges, when we begin to see the other person as they truly are, the contrast between our projection and reality can be painful. The gift and the trap projection is not inherently bad. In fact, Jung saw it as a natural part of human connection. When we project, we are revealing something about ourselves, qualities we admire, desires we have not fulfilled, or wounds we have not yet healed. The gift of projection is that it can act as a mirror, showing us aspects of ourselves we may have ignored. The trap is believing the other person is the projection, instead of realizing they merely reflect it back to us. If you've ever felt like someone changed after the first months of a relationship, it might not be that they changed, it might be that the projection faded and you began to see them more clearly. Signs you're seeing a projection. How can you tell if what you're feeling is true connection or mostly projection? Jungian psychology offers several clues. Intense idealization, you see them as perfect, without flaws. Over-identification, you feel as if your life has no meaning without them. Unrealistic expectations, you expect them to fulfill needs that are, in truth, your own responsibility. Disappointment and disillusionment, as soon as they act outside of your imagined version of them, your feelings shift dramatically. When these patterns appear, it's not a sign to end the relationship, but rather a sign to look inward. Ask yourself, what part of me am I seeing in them? What qualities am I longing to claim as my own? From projection to partnership, the real transformation in love happens when projection gives way to perception. When we begin to see our partner as a whole, complex, imperfect human being rather than a symbol of our inner ideal, we create space for genuine intimacy. This is when love becomes not just a mirror, but a bridge between two souls who recognize each other's humanity and who choose to walk together, not because they are incomplete, but because they wish to grow together. Jung wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." True love transforms both people, not by making them into something they are not, but by encouraging them to become more of who they truly are. Have you ever wondered why you are instantly drawn to certain people while others barely register in your awareness? Jung believed that this magnetic pull often comes from the unconscious. Something about the other person awakens a hidden part of us, a part we may have long ignored or never fully developed. This attraction is not random. It is a signal from the psyche, pointing toward aspects of ourselves that are seeking integration. Sometimes these aspects are positive traits we have not yet embraced. Other times they are wounds or fears that are longing for healing. Familiarity, not always love. Many people mistake familiarity for love. If a person's behavior, energy, or even their emotional unavailability feels comfortable, it may be because it mirrors something from our past. We are unconsciously drawn to what we know, even if what we know is not healthy for us. This is why patterns repeat. We may find ourselves in relationships with different faces, but the same emotional dynamics, as though life is giving us the same lesson until we finally learn it. Breaking the cycle. The first step to breaking unconscious relationship patterns is awareness. Notice when you feel that intense, almost irrational pull toward someone. Ask yourself, is this attraction about them, or is it about something inside me that they awaken? Once you become aware of the inner dynamic, you gain the freedom to choose. Instead of being swept away by the unconscious current, you can decide whether this connection will truly serve your growth or simply repeat the past. The role of shadow in attraction. Jung's concept of the shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves that we reject or deny, plays a powerful role in attraction. Often we are drawn to people who embody traits we have disowned. They may be more confident, more spontaneous, more assertive, or even more reckless than we allow ourselves to be. In them, we see a piece of ourselves that has been locked away. This is why attraction can feel so electrifying. It's the unconscious recognizing itself in another person. But the ultimate goal is not to possess that person. It is to reclaim the part of ourselves they represent. From fate to choice. When we remain unconscious, our relationships feel like fate. We say things like, "I can't help who I'm drawn to." But when we bring these patterns into awareness, we begin to see that attraction is not always a sign to move forward. It can also be an invitation to look inward. This is the shift from fate to choice. We no longer follow attraction blindly. Instead, we approach it with curiosity, discernment, and self-awareness. To Carl Jung, love was never meant to be just a romantic ideal or a fleeting passion. It was a profound psychological and spiritual process, a mirror through which we come to know ourselves more deeply. True love, in his view, is not about losing yourself in another person, but about finding yourself through the relationship. Love, as a mirror in every meaningful connection, there is a mirror. Sometimes it reflects back our most beautiful qualities, kindness, empathy, courage. Other times it reflects back our insecurities, fears, and wounds. A conscious relationship welcomes both. It does not shy away from discomfort because it understands that conflict and challenge are not the end of love. They are invitations for growth. From possession to partnership, unconscious love often seeks to possess. It clings, it controls, it fears loss. Conscious love seeks to support. It encourages each person to grow into their fullest self, even if that growth challenges the relationship to evolve. Jung suggested that the healthiest partnerships are those where both individuals are committed not only to each other, but also to their own individuation, their own journey toward wholeness. The courage to be seen. Conscious love requires vulnerability. It means showing up as you truly are, without masks, without carefully curated versions of yourself. It means letting the other person see both your light and your shadow, and trusting that they can hold space for both. This courage to be fully seen is the foundation for genuine intimacy. Without it, relationships remain surface level, even if they appear perfect from the outside. Love is a path of individuation. The process of becoming your true self does not happen in isolation. It happens in the tension and beauty of relationship. Every misunderstanding, every joy, every shared challenge has the potential to bring us closer to who we really are. When love is conscious, it becomes one of the most transformative forces in our lives. It is no longer about seeking someone to complete it is about walking alongside someone who inspires us to become whole. Jung's timeless reminder. As Jung famously said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. In the end, love is not only about what we feel, it's about how we change, how we expand, and how we bring more awareness into the way we connect. In the end, Carl Jung's Insights remind us that the greatest journey we can ever take is the one within. It is in facing our shadows, embracing our true self, and listening to the quiet voice of our inner world that we find real freedom. Each step toward self-awareness is not just for us. It ripples outward, shaping the lives of those around. You start if these reflections have resonated with you. Consider walking this path with me. Subscribe to this channel to explore more of Jung's wisdom and the timeless principles of deep psychology. Share this message with someone who might be searching for meaning, and let your thoughts and experiences flow in the comments. Your story may inspire another soul on their own journey. Together, we can keep this dialogue alive, allowing these ideas to reach more hearts and minds. And in doing so, perhaps we take one more step toward the collective awakening Jung so often spoke of.